States and Canada. Well, we're told many froze to death in their own cars, were found entombed in snowdrifts when rescue workers got to them. Those crews now trying to dig out more drivers and residents, especially in Buffalo in New York State, the worst Arctic blizzard there in 45 years. It even buried the snowplows and breakdown trucks, stranding motorists and cars, killing at least 13 people yesterday. The lethal conditions started on Friday, drawing freezing air down from the Arctic Circle and creating what meteorologists described as a bomb cyclone, bringing freezing conditions as far south as the Mexican border. Well, the numbing cold combined with the howling winds and heavy snow produced conditions that the New York governor, Kathy Hochul, described as like going into a war zone. Let's get now the thoughts of Jim Dale, senior meteorologist at British Weather Services. Jim, thank you for joining us. What is this bomb cyclone that they described, and why did it hit so quickly and so far south?
It's quite technical, actually. This is an area of low pressure that found its way southwards from the Arctic, essentially northwest Greenland. It deepened and it moved south, and on its western flank, all that cold air you've been talking about, that freezing cold air along with the snow, sank all the way down as far as Texas and even north of Mexico. So it went essentially most of the United States. On the eastern side, the eastern seaboard, it was more the rain side. They were on the mild side and the windy side, which is why they saw regionalised flooding in places like the New York seaboard there. But this was an unprecedented event.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. I say it wasn't expected. You could see it coming. A week ago, you could see it coming. But the degree always catches us by surprise in terms of what it does, and particularly Buffalo has been hit twice now this year.
Yeah, we had the president, of course, issued a warning, take this seriously. And it does look like one of those disaster movies, because I think the other aspect was that the winds, they were hurricane force in many areas like Buffalo.
Yeah, they were. When you get that, you've got the severe wind chill that goes with it. You talk about people dying in their cars. Basically what happened in the United States, a good part of it was it turned into the Arctic. The dislocation of the polar vortex, which is basically what moves around the Arctic on a normal circumstance. That dislocated, much as it did for ourselves in a smaller way a few weeks ago, came down across ourselves from Norway. This one obviously was bigger and more manifest. But I will stress to you, it didn't affect all of the United States, even the western side. So we're talking about now California, Oregon, and Washington states. They were actually quite the opposite. In fact, yesterday, in Los Angeles, they saw 28 degrees as everybody else was freezing. And Miami, 10 degrees. So you can see there's a huge difference, and very, very unusual.
Yeah, and we're used to sort of getting their weather later on as it crosses the Atlantic. But this is different. This won't be a system that travels across to us.
No, it's going to go back where it belongs, back into the Arctic and basically dissipating. So luckily, no. I think what we're going to end up with, we're in the tram lines of the Atlantic now, so all of that's going to feed into us over the next few days. Yeah, and I'm looking at a radar just above my head here, and the snow showers over Scotland, and that's probably where they're going to stay more or less today. So icy conditions up there, but for the most part, as we go towards the new year, it will ebb and flow to a certain degree. The winds will pick up to a degree as well. But I think we can call ourselves very lucky not to be associated with what's coming out of the United States in any shape or form. So lucky us.
Now, here's a question.